Thanks for joining us. I'm Sam Shocker, and it's been quite a week of storms, and we've almost made it through, but there's one more storm threat for us today before the skies clear out again. We've been seeing scenes like this nearly all week, and while we need the rain, of course, some of us are worn out from the intensity and the damage that's come with it. Some residents, like those in Wiggins in the Eastern Plains and in Kittredge in the foothills, have insurance claims to file because of the storms. More on the recovery in a minute. So first, let's see what's in store for us today. He's in the 9 News backyard, soaking up the sun. Jaden Knowles, happy Friday.
Well, happy Friday, Sam. You know, it is standing in the sun and it's starting to sweat in the suit just a tad bit. But we're starting to see some clouds roll in as I'm looking up, and I'm looking at radar as well. And there's some isolated showers already just towards the west of the metro area. That's going to continue to track towards the east. And yeah, we do have scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for this afternoon, but really not of a widespread coverage like we saw the last couple of days. Taking a look at temperatures right now, we're noticing it is pretty warm out here. We are already in the upper 80s, and that's right around what I'm forecasting for this afternoon. Noticing the National Weather Service has just updated this over the last hour. We have a level 2 risk now shaded in yellow, mainly over towards the eastern plains. Really the same hazards that we've been talking about throughout the rest of the week. Large hail, damaging winds, and possibly spin-up tornadoes. Further out east you go. But then noticing we're not included with that, with any of the risk, even that level 1 risk across the metro area. So here's live radar as of right now, noticing a closer look just towards the west of the metro area. Some isolated showers. Clouds are rolling in right now. So my forecast calls for rain just around 1 p.m. here across the metro area, so lasting till about 4 or 5 p.m. before clearing out as we head into the early evening hours. I know there's a lot of events going on, a lot of plans. You should be okay for that. Here's your temperature trend, noticing getting up to the upper 80s. And guess what? Even hotter temperatures. Yeah, hotter temperatures as we head into this upcoming weekend. 96 on Saturday. We'll talk more in details about those rain chances in my full forecast.
All right, Jaden, thank you. Communities on the northeastern plains have been repeatedly hit by storms, strong storms this week. We've shown you the huge hail that hit Wiggins and other areas. But in Washington County, heavy rain washed out several roads, including this one south of Plattner. One area that was hit hard was Akron, and the pour downs left roads throughout the town of Akron flooded. Homes and businesses suffered too much damage.
There's very few homes that have not been impacted by the flooding. Most of the reports I've heard are basement flooding, or those who don't have a basement, the water just coming in through the doors. Most of the town facilities have been impacted, either with leaking through the roof, but a lot of flooding.
Town manager says it's been a community effort to clean up around the town, with some people working until 1:30 in the morning to clean up all the debris.
This is the craziest thing I think I've ever experienced.
Wednesday night storms also turned much of Kittredge into a muddy nightmare. Bear Creek swelled and overflowed, if you can see right there, sending water and mud into homes. Residents spent yesterday stepping in mud as they worked to clean it all up. But we were told neighbors quickly stepped in to help each other with food, supplies, and the cleanup effort. We were also back in Evergreen today to see the cleanup that's still ahead for residents and business owners. Cactus Jack's Saloon was one of those businesses with water damage overnight on Wednesday. They got some cleaners in and are back open. 9 News reporter Jennifer Meckel shares the struggles of another business owner.
Well, 24 hours later, the town of Evergreen is waking up to a little bit of a different perspective than they did on Thursday morning. Today is day 2 of the cleanup, but a lot of things have finally started to dry out. Joining me today, I've got Jim Sherwood, who owns Evergreen Clothing and Mercantile. We talked to you yesterday when you had, like a couple inches of water standing on the floor of the business?
Yes, we definitely had some cleanup yesterday, had a little reclamation work again today. Almost like deja vu, because last night between 9 and 10 o'clock, another wall of water came upon Evergreen and dropped about 1.5 inches in less than 20 minutes. So we still have some aftermath of that today that we're cleaning up, and we're disinfecting the store. And there was some debris out in the street and so forth.
You guys had to rip up all your carpets. I saw you outside shoveling mud this morning.
Yeah.
What is day 2 going to look like for you?
Not as intense as day 1, that's for sure. I have a feeling that most people are going to be able to get through today in better shape than yesterday.
Well, that's good news. And then the last question I'll ask you is, a lot of people were hopeful they'd be open again today and this weekend. You're open. Everybody else seems. I'm looking at businesses with mostly open signs today. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that everybody's going to be open today for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Best of luck. I know you guys got a lot of work ahead of you, and homeowners around here too. Jim, thank you. The cleanup continues all weekend, but guys, I think it's mostly better news today, even after last night's extra rain, the extra little dose of rain they got up here in Evergreen. Reporting in Evergreen, Jennifer Meckles, 9 News.
The owners of a funeral home in Pueblo where dozens of decomposing bodies were hidden away have now been charged and are in jail. One of them will face a judge this afternoon. Yesterday, former Republican Pueblo County Coroner Brian Cotter and his brother Chris were arrested. They each face dozens of charges, including abuse of a corpse, forgery, and theft. Inspectors discovered 24 bodies in a secret room at their funeral home, Davis Mortuary, back in August. This week, investigators also announced they found more cremated remains stored there and say they believe there are at least 125 victims. So far, 19 have been identified. Investigators say that the mortuary's bad record keeping and bad conditions of the remains have made identification extremely difficult.
Certainly the goal was to have all of the bodies identified by the filing of charges. However, Colorado law does not require the specific identity in order to file the abuse of corpse charges.
Both brothers had their bonds set at $1 million. Brian Cotter will be in court today for a preliminary hearing at 2:30. Also yesterday, we learned the Adams County DA will not be charging an Aurora police officer who shot and killed a man at an off-airport parking lot last year. The officer shot 32-year-old Rashad Johnson last May. Aurora police say the parking lot manager repeatedly called 911, reporting a trespasser who appeared to be under the influence. When the officer arrived at the lot, police say Johnson walked towards them. They got into a struggle. The officer pulled him off and started yelling commands, but Johnson walked toward him again, and they say that led to the officer shooting him. Attorneys filed a lawsuit on behalf of Johnson's family last year, claiming he was experiencing a mental health crisis, and the officer escalated the situation. The officer filed a motion last week to dismiss the lawsuit, but the court hasn't made a ruling yet. The National Park Service is investigating the death of a Denver man who died while in Yellowstone Lake. Rangers believe 41-year-old Brandon Ray was kayaking and then capsized. His family say he loved the outdoors, camping and traveling, and went up to Yellowstone for the first time ever for his birthday. Friends were devastated when they found out.
He sent a text message to one of our friends right before he went on the water, and he said, "I'm on a trip to Yellowstone and beyond." And that's exactly where Brandon went.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Brandon was big on sustainability, so his former employer hosted a trash pickup day in his honor.